Can we please talk about this? No, we don't need to talk about anything. We are done. You made your choice. 7 months, 214 days since my husband walked out of my life like he was never even here. 7 months of waking up alone in this big empty house, wondering how everything went to hell so fast. No. Screaming match, no thrown plates, no last words hanging in the air, just gone. Like he evaporated. And here is the real kicker. Literally everyone I know thinks I had it coming. I am absolutely losing it trying to track down a man who has made it crystal clear he wants nothing to do with me. The whole disaster kicked off over something so damn stupid. I had left my laptop sitting open on the kitchen island while I ran to grab a package from the front porch. Delivery guy. Nothing exciting. Probably more stuff I impulse bought at 2:00 a.m. took me maybe 90 seconds. Tops. When I walked back in, my husband was just standing there staring at my screen. His face looked like someone had hit pause on a video, completely frozen. That should have scared me right there, because he wore every single emotion like a billboard. You always knew exactly what he was thinking just by looking at him. I asked him what was wrong, setting the box down on the counter. He did not answer, just reached over, closed the laptop real slow and deliberate, and headed straight for the stairs. I heard drawers slamming open. Upstairs, the closet door scraping on its track. By the time I got up there, he already had his big suitcase laid out on the bed. He was folding his work shirts like he was packing for a business trip, moving with this weird mechanical precision. I asked him what the hell he was doing, but he still would not talk to me. He kept moving with this calm purpose, grabbing only the basics: his dress pants, his electric razor, that old watch his grandfather left him. Did not touch any of the stuff we had picked out together. None of the wedding gifts, none of the vacation souvenirs, nothing that had us written on it. I begged him to please just talk to me, getting scared now. I asked him what he saw on the laptop. He stopped for just a second and looked up at me with these eyes I did not even recognize, empty, cold, like I was some random person asking him for directions. He said one word, everything, then went right back to packing. My stomach just dropped straight through the floor, because I knew exactly what he meant. The messages, months and months of messages with my coworker, my whatever the hell he was, explicit stuff. Pictures I definitely should not have been sending, plans for when we would meet up next. All of it just sitting there in my email, left open like an idiot. I tried to tell him I could explain, but he just said no. One word. Firm, but not even angry. That might have been the worst part. He told me no explanations, no big dramatic fight. He was done. I told him he could not just bail like this. And he said to watch him. And I did. Stood there watching him zip up that suitcase, grab his car keys off the dresser, walk right past me like I was a piece of furniture he did not even notice anymore. I followed him down the stairs, foolin' begging, tears streaming down my face, promising him anything and everything I could think of. He did not react to a single word, just loaded his car and drove off down our quiet suburban street. That was June 15th. Just any other day that destroyed my entire life. I figured he would be back after he cooled down. You know, that is how this stuff works, right? Guys storm out. They need their space to calm down. Then they come back ready to hash it out. The crying, the yelling, the how could you, maybe some couples therapy, conditions for trying again. That is the playbook everyone follows. But my husband apparently did not get the memo. I called him probably 300 times that first week alone. Every single call went straight to voicemail. Eventually, his inbox filled up and would not even let me leave messages anymore. I texted him these long, rambling novels, apologies, explanations, straight up begging. They all showed delivered but never read. I drove to his office downtown. The receptionist told me he had requested a leave of absence indefinite. I went to his brother's place, rang the doorbell for like 10 minutes. Nobody answered, but I could hear the TV on inside, some game playing. Hit up his parents' house. His mom actually came to the window, looked right at me through the glass, and closed the curtains. Just like that. Shut me out without a word. By week 2, I was fully spiraling. This was not normal breakup behavior. People do not just vanish into thin air because you had an affair. They fight back. They make you hurt the way they are hurting. They throw your stuff on the lawn. They do not just delete themselves from your entire existence like they never even knew you. I tried everything I could think of. Posted on his social media page. He had blocked me. Every platform I could think of. Blocked on every single one. I made fake accounts with random names, different profile, pictures, everything. Still got blocked somehow, like he had some sixth sense for sniffing me out. Within hours of me trying to message him from a new account, boom, blocked again. He must have had people watching for me or set up some kind of alerts. I do not know. I emailed his work address and it bounced right back. Account deactivated. Our mutual friends were useless. Actually, worse than useless, they had all picked sides. And surprise, surprise, nobody picked mine. I asked my best friend, who I had known since college, if she had heard from him. She said, yep. Just like that. All sarcastic. I asked if he was okay, where he was. She told me he was fine, and he did not want me knowing where he was. I said, come on, I screwed up, but this is insane. He cannot just disappear off the face of the earth. She said it seemed like he could actually. And honestly, after what I pulled, she did not blame him, even a little bit. I said what I pulled, I had an affair. It happens all the time. People do not just vanish. She cut me off right there. Told me I had an affair with his cousin's husband at their wedding reception during the bride's first dance, while my husband was a groomsman standing right there. Hearing it laid out like that all at once, it sounded so much worse than how I had been justifying it in my own head. My coworker and I had been flirting for months before the wedding. Sure, the wedding was just when things finally went physical. And yeah, okay, he was married to my husband's cousin, but everyone could see that marriage was already on the rocks. That is what I kept telling myself anyway. My friend was not having it though. She said it was not like that, was it? Her voice going ice cold. Then she told me his cousin found out when she checked her email on their home computer a few days after the wedding and saw my messages still pulled up. I had been at their place that morning to print out directions to brunch. Forgot to log out of my email like an absolute idiot. She said his cousin saw everything, all the messages between me and her new husband, describing in graphic detail what we did in that courtroom during her first dance. She told me his cousin was filing for divorce. By the way, 3 months of marriage completely destroyed. So, yeah, my husband vanished. And could I really blame him? Then she hung up on me. I just sat there staring at my phone, processing this new information that made everything so much worse. His cousin had seen the messages first, not him. She must have told him, or maybe they looked at them together. I do not know. But the full weight of what I had done started crushing down on me. Not just an affair, but an affair with family at a family event documented in vivid detail for everyone to see. The humiliation he must have felt reading those messages. The betrayal not just of me cheating but who I chose and when I chose to do it. I tried to fix things with his cousin first, thinking maybe if I could repair that damage he might actually talk to me. But she had blocked me too. Her entire family had closed ranks. My coworker, of course, was dealing with his own fallout and wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. He texted me once before blocking me saying, this was just fun, not worth destroying his life over. Real stand-up guy, that one. By month 2, I was completely unraveling. My husband had been surgical in his disappearance, like he had planned it out step by step. Our joint bank accounts had been properly divided. He must have done it that first week before I even realized what was happening. By the time I checked, the money was already transferred to some account I could not access.
He took
Exactly half, not a penny more, just split it right down the middle.
the
House was in my name anyway, a gift from my parents when we got married. So he had no claim there. But he had removed every trace of himself from the place. His clothes, his books, his gaming setup with the expensive computer he had built. Himself. Those movie posters I had always complained about, even the photos. Off the walls. He took them all, leaving empty frames and blank spaces everywhere. I looked. I hired a private investigator. Felt like a complete stalker doing it, but I was desperate. The PI took my money, did some digging around, came back with basically
nothing.
He told me my husband did not want to be found, plain and simple. Changed his phone number, moved out of state, started paying cash for everything, so there was no paper trail. The only thing he could confirm was that my husband filed for divorce in Nevada. Quick, clean, no fault state where you can get it done fast.
He said papers
should arrive soon, probably within the next week or two.
They did.
Showed up. Delivered by courier on a random Wednesday afternoon. Simple dissolution paperwork. No demands, no accusations. Just a request to end our 5-year marriage as efficiently as possible. His signature was already there at the bottom, with just a P.O. box listed for correspondence. No way to track him from
that.
I refused to sign for weeks, thinking it was the only leverage I had left. If he wanted a divorce, he would have to face me eventually, right? But my lawyer explained that was not how it worked at all. She told me he could get the divorce without my signature. It would just take longer and cost more. And frankly, fighting it would only make me look worse than I already did.
She
told me to sign the papers and let the man go. But I could not do it.
Not
without seeing him one more time. Not without making him understand that yes, I had made a terrible mistake. But we had 5 years together, a whole life. Plans for the future. You do not just throw that away without at least one conversation. I started going to places. I thought he might show up eventually. His favorite coffee shop where we had had our first date, sitting in that window booth for 3 hours, the bookstore where he spent every Saturday afternoon, browsing the hiking trails. He loved nothing. Not a single trace of him. Anywhere. It was like he had been erased from the world entirely. Month 3 is when I really cracked and started posting on social media about our situation. Not the details. I was not that stupid, but vague posts about missing him, about mistakes and forgiveness, about second chances everybody deserves. I thought maybe if I could get enough sympathy, enough people on my side, someone would tell me where he was. It backfired spectacularly. Worse than I could have imagined. Someone I never found out who posted the real story in the comments. The affair, the cousin's wedding, the graphic messages, all of it. Within hours, I was trending online with some thread titled, "Woman cheats with groom at wedding. Shocked when husband vanishes."
It became
this massive viral thing. Thousands of comments. The comments were absolutely brutal. Play stupid games. Win stupid prizes. This is the level of petty I aspire to. Guy just said nope and bounced. Respect. She really thought he would stick around after that level of disrespect. Delusional. Strangers from around the world were weighing in on my marriage, my character, my appearance, and photos they dug up. They found all. My accounts, everything. The messages ranged from calling me every name in the book to detailed descriptions of what they thought I deserved. I had to make everything private, but the screenshots lived forever, getting shared and reshared. My employer saw the posts eventually. HR called me in for this uncomfortable meeting about maintaining professional standards and representing company values. I was not fired, but they made it crystal clear I was on thin ice. Any performance issues, any hint of drama, and I would be gone. My coworker had already been let go by that point. Turned out he had been using his company credit card for our hotel rooms.
Real
smart move there. The worst part was the complete isolation that followed. Friends who had stood by me through other bad decisions in my life drew the line here. My sister, who had always defended me no matter what, just shook her head when I tried to explain. She told me I humiliated him, not just by cheating, but by doing it with his cousin's new husband at her wedding. During her first dance, while he was standing there as a groomsman watching his family celebrate, she asked if I understood how that must have felt. Finding those messages describing what I was doing during that moment. I said, I made a mistake. Just one stupid mistake. She said, no, I made a
Choice.
a cruel, selfish choice. And now I was facing the consequences.
He did.
Not owe me closure. Did not owe me anything at all. By month 4, I was
Seeing a therapist.
not because I wanted to, but because I was literally losing my mind. Could not sleep, could not eat, could not focus on anything but finding him. The therapist was the first person who did not immediately judge me.
She
Asked me to tell her about the affair, not the details, but why.
What was I
Looking for in it? I had never really thought about it, honestly. I told her excitement, I guess. My husband was safe and predictable. My coworker was dangerous.
She asked what I meant by
Dangerous. I said he was married, unavailable. It was thrilling. All the sneaking around, the coded text, meeting up in parking lots. She asked about the fact that he was married to my husband's cousin specifically. I said, I did not
plan that.
It just happened. They got married, and we had already been flirting for months. The wedding was just an opportunity that finally presented itself. My therapist made notes in her little journal. She asked how I thought my husband felt when he found out. I said, betrayed, hurt, angry. Those are all valid feelings. She asked, what else? Pushing me to go deeper.
I thought about it.
Really thought about it for the first time since this whole thing started. Humiliated, I said. Quietly, like our whole relationship was a joke. Like he was a fool for trusting me all those years. She asked what I thought someone feeling those things might need. Space, I admitted, distance from me. Time to heal without the person who hurt them making it worse by constantly trying to contact them. So, why was I trying so hard to find him?
Then
I said because I needed him to know I was sorry, that it was not about him, that I loved him. She asked if I did love him, or if I loved the stability he represented. That question haunted me for days afterward. Did I actually love him as a person, or did I just love the life we had built together, the steady paycheck, the nice house, the certainty of having someone who would always be there no matter what? When I thought about what I missed most, it was Sunday. Mornings in bed, reading the paper. His cooking. God, he made the best meals. The way he handled my family drama, without ever complaining, comfortable things, safe things, not passion or excitement or romance. I told her honestly, I did not know if I loved him, or just what he provided. She said, then perhaps his disappearance was a gift for both of us, a chance to figure out who we actually were without each other. Month 5 brought an unexpected development that sent me into a tailspin. My cousin ran into his sister at a
concert.
She was visiting from somewhere out west. Apparently mentioned that my husband was doing well, had a new job, was even seeing someone. That last part just destroyed me completely. Seeing someone already, we were not even officially divorced yet. The papers were not finalized. How could he move on so fast after 5 years together? It had only been 5 months since he left. I had destroyed my entire life, lost all my friends, became internet infamous, and he was out there dating like nothing happened. I redoubled my efforts to find him. Got obsessed with it. Hired a different PI, one who was willing to bend some rules, used contacts at credit agencies and phone companies. He found my husband clear across the country, working for some tech company, living in a small apartment, no social media presence, no listed phone number, but alive and apparently thriving out there. I booked a flight immediately. Did not even think about it. Showed up at his work like a complete stalker. Waited in the parking lot for hours. When he walked out at the end of the day, laughing with coworkers, my heart just
Stopped.
He looked good, healthy, happy even. His hair was longer almost, touching his shoulders now. He had grown a beard, but it was unmistakably him. Same walk, same gestures. He saw me before I could even approach. The laughter just died on his face, instantly replaced by that same blank expression from 7 months ago, like someone had wiped all emotion away. He said something to his coworkers.
They
Glanced my way, looking uncomfortable, and quickly dispersed. Then he walked to his car, a very nice car I might add, without even acknowledging I was there. I called out to him, asked him to wait. He stopped but did not turn around. Just stood there with his back to me. Asked how I found him, voice flat and emotionless. I said, "Does it matter? We need to talk." He said, "No, we do not." Still not turning around. I said, 5 years together. Don't I deserve that? Much? Some kind of explanation or closure. He turned then, and the look in his eyes stopped me cold. Not anger, not hurt, just nothing at all. Like I was a problem to be solved. Not a person he had once loved and built a life with. He said I deserved what I gave him. Nothing. No explanation. No closure, no dramatic confrontation, just absence. I said that was not fair. Getting desperate now. He almost smiled at that. This bitter little twist of his mouth. Asked if it was fair when I hooked up with my coworker in the coat closet during his cousin's first dance. If it was fair reading messages about how boring he was in bed compared to the other guy, how predictable and safe and unsexy. If it was fair finding out from his cousin that I was the reason her 3-month marriage ended. I said I never meant for any of that to happen. I never meant to hurt anyone. He said he did not care what I meant. He only cared what I did. And what I did told him everything. He needed to know about how much he mattered to me, which was not at all. I told him he mattered. He still mattered to me. He just held up his hand. Told me to stop. Said this was what I wanted was not it. Drama, excitement, passion. Someone who is not boring and predictable. Well, he was not going to give me the satisfaction. He was not going to yell or cry or fight for us. He was just going to live his life without me in it. Simple as that. I asked about forgiveness, about second chances, about trying again. He said forgiveness was not about me or for me. He would forgive me eventually for his own peace of mind. But that did not mean he had to let me back into his life. Second chances were for people who made mistakes. He said, I made choices calculated, deliberate. Choices over and over for months. A woman approached, then pretty in this understated, natural way. She touched his arm gently, looked between us with concern on her face, asked if everything was okay, her voice soft and caring. He said, fine. His voice softening for her in a way it had not for me. Told her I was just leaving. Said my name like I was nobody, not his ex-wife, not any explanation of who I was to him, just my first name like I was anyone, no one special. I demanded to know if this was why he would not talk to me because of her. He said no. Simple as that. He would not talk to me because he had nothing to say, nothing left to discuss. Told me to go home, sign the divorce papers, move on with my life. He already had very clearly. He got in his car with the woman, drove away, without looking back even once. I just stood there in that parking lot in a strange city across the country, finally understanding it was really over. Not because he had found someone else, but because he had found peace without me. I flew home that night on the red-eye, signed the divorce papers the next morning first thing. The filing was quick since it was uncontested. Neither of us fighting over anything. By month 7, right now, I am officially divorced, officially alone, officially the villain in a story that went viral and then got forgotten by everyone except me. He never came back online. never unblocked me, never gave me the confrontation I had expected, the chance to explain myself or apologize properly or make promises about changing. He just removed himself from my life as efficiently as he had once planned our future together. My therapist says I am grieving not just the relationship, but the narrative I had created about what would happen. I thought there would be drama and passion, and eventually a chance for redemption. Instead, I got silence, complete and total silence. Turns out the opposite of love is not hate, like everyone says it is. Indifference. And his complete indifference to my existence is driving me absolutely insane. My therapist asked me last week why his reaction bothered me so much. I said because it is like I never mattered to him. Like 5 years meant absolutely nothing, she said.
Or
perhaps it meant so much that the only way he could heal was to act as if I never existed. Sometimes the deepest cuts require the most distance to heal properly. I see my coworkers sometimes, around town at the store or getting gas. We do not acknowledge each other. Just look away and pretend we do not exist. He is trying to save his marriage, I heard through the grapevine. Good luck with that. Honestly, my husband's cousin still will not speak to me. Not that I blame her one bit. The friends I lost have not come back. Probably never will. The internet has moved on to other scandals, but I am still here. Still in this house full of empty picture frames and blank spaces where his stuff used to be. Still Googling how to find someone who does not want to be found at 3 o'clock in the morning. Still checking my phone for messages that will never come.
still
Expecting him to eventually crack, to need closure the way I desperately do. But he will not. I know that now with absolute certainty. He gave me exactly what I gave him, a unilateral decision to end things without input or consideration from the other person. He found out I cheated, and he vanished into
thin air.
And somehow that is worse than any fight we could have had because fighting would mean he still cared enough to engage. Disappearing means he decided I was not worth the effort
Anymore.
Everyone thinks I deserve this. The isolation, the silence, the complete eraser from his life. They are probably right.
I can admit that now. I
Humiliated him in the worst possible way at the worst possible time with the worst possible person. I turned our marriage into a punchline and his family into collateral damage. But knowing you deserve something does not make it any easier to bear. I am losing my mind trying to understand how someone can surgically remove 5 years from their life without a backward glance.
how they
Can resist a human need for answers, for resolution, for having the last word. The answer is simple, though. Even if I hate it, he could walk away because I had already left. Every time I met my coworker, every lie I told, every moment I spent with another man, I was leaving him. He just made it official, made it
permanent.
I started therapy thinking it would help me get him back, or at least
Get him to talk to me one more time.
instead I am learning to live with the consequences of my choices. To sit with the discomfort of being the villain in my own story. To accept that not every ending comes with closure, and not every mistake earns forgiveness. He vanished because that was the kindest thing he could do for both of us. Probably. Fighting would have been easier for me, more satisfying, given me something to work with, but walking away was cleaner. For him, healthier. He gave me what I had been chasing all along, a life without him in it. The fact that I want him back now that he is gone is just another cosmic joke. I am the woman who cheated at a family wedding with the groom while my husband watched. I am the one who got exposed online and became a cautionary tale for thousands of strangers. I am the ex-wife whose husband disappeared rather than deal with her betrayal. And I am slowly, painfully accepting that this silence, this absence, this nothing is exactly what I deserve. Everyone else figured that out 7 months ago when this whole mess started. I am just now catching